Are you going to Gen Con? Are we going to be best friends in real life now?
I don't actually know if I'll be at Gen Con. I'm sure some of our staff will be there. I know that I will be at Fan Expo if you guys can come back to Chicago soon.
Soon? Not for
I'm
me.
90% sure it's in August.
Oh no, we can't do Gen Con in August and then school starting. Are you going to PAX Unplugged? Or are we just going to be internet best friends?
We might just have to be internet best friends. I'm sorry. I'm a Midwestern boy. It's hard to get me out of town. We have good public transit. I don't know what you want me to say.
Okay, so we got to talk about the public transit. Oh, okay. So sorry.
I can. We will.
I love that shit, okay? But I know our city just like, you have to do the plain one.
ADHD and me being like, trains? Yes.
I have the waves. I have the waves autism, so I will just sit there and watch like waves go back and forth. I have a little bit of train autism, but I don't think I have that one as much as I do the waves. You know.
Nah, for me it's the full on just like, yes, a new subject. Yes, a new subject. Yeah.
You know, there's like certain, like when I watch anime and I know one of the writers get interested in one thing, they just have this whole arc on that one thing they do. They just research. I'm like, yeah, this guy definitely's got some of the little tism.
You know.
Well, like that. Should I grab some reins here and then kind of try to guide this a little bit, or
nah?
Or we're just gonna keep faffing about the whole
why
hour.
are you trying to railroad us? Damn, it's
I mean,
already.
Well, you see, here as lead game master at Rough Magic Games.
Okay.
Just making sure if any of our clientele decide to visit your podcast, because we share and distribute all these on our social media as well, I would love for them to know at least, like, hey, who are we talking to today? If this is their first time listening, who are the wonderful hosts that have invited me on their show?
Well, my job's done.
Smash cut to theme song.
Adrian,
hi, welcome to another episode of Dungeons and Degrees.
Okay. I'm ready. Take that cut. Take it. Go forth.
Take it.
Go forth.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Dungeons and Degrees. My name is Adrian.
And I'm Alex.
Today we are with Diego.
Hello.
Bruno of Rough Magic.
Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be on.
Yes, on topic for a little bit. We'll jump off the rails. Call back to trains. But
already with the inside jokes.
We're best friends.
It's bound to happen. Best friends.
Best friends.
Duh.
I had the pleasure, and Alex and I had the pleasure of listening to Diego talk about diversity in at your table in TTRPGs, things of that sort.
That's why. And...
Wait, this
is one of those times that I was like, I recognize this person, but how do I recognize them?
I'm in charge of scheduling, and Alex just shows up.
Yeah.
And just says, I do or do not know this person. Either way, I'm very ill prepared. Just kidding.
So they turned on their camera, saw a cute nerd, and just went, oh, okay.
Story of my life.
Nice.
95% of the people we have here.
I'm glad to be the surprise.
Is that what happened when I was gone? Anyways. Welcome, Diego. I appreciate you being here.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, no, and just so your audience knows, this is the general vibe of the podcast. There is, you can be the professional you want to be. We're going to be the professionals we've always been. Kinda.
I should have listened to more of the content earlier.
Yeah, you probably should have.
Should have gotten this vibe when most of the contact was through Instagram. 10 out of 10.
Whoa. In like our realm of shit, Instagram.
What's shit?
All of it. How many people are really checking their emails aside from like...
Oh, not to out myself as an old man, I handed your business partner here a genuine business card.
That may
That's
have been on
me.
me.
Like-
You know what, Adrian? I'll
like-
take that one. I'll take the L because I'm in charge of the business
Did
cards.
you take the?
I
Yeah, I did give you all the cards.
I had all the cards, and I was distracted in the artists area in C2E2.
I was just being an old man and being like, I had a phone number on there. You kiddos could have
Oh,
called.
you put a phone number? What phone number? Wait, hold on, but it's like a business card, okay? So like,
Same phone number I've had for 18 years.
oh shit, we can call your cell phone?
Genuinely could have hit up my phone.
Adrian, play like 15 seconds of call me on my cell phone right here. Like whatever is legally allowed.
Legally
Just like
allowed.
10 seconds.
Hey, Dante, can you do me a favor and create your own version of Call Me on Your Cell Phone? Because we're not supporting Drake.
That's fair. That song, okay. Anyways,
Okay.
thanks, Dante.
DJ so funky, man.
What's this knob do?
Call me on my cell phone. Late night when you need more. And I know when that
Okay, so you're bold. We can immediately point out the fact that
Yes.
you hand out your cell phone number to complete strangers.
Constantly. I straight up will answer even when the thing says spam likely, just to find out what's on the other end. Sometimes people are lonely and they're just stuck at a bad job, okay?
Who hurt you?
No,
Is it-
wait.
No. We're straight to hurt.
That's a good thing. That's
Wow.
like, who
Wow.
are you healing is what I was thinking, but like, go ahead. Alex.
I mean, I am a openly queer man from a Christian family.
Okay, cool. No, we got it.
So
I got
Catholic
you.
school growing up, that was some of it. But I will also very much say, like, as somebody in the whole like D&D scene and everything like that, it's very much just like, hey, you know, for everyone else, that spam call, that's an NPC and an annoying one. But for that person stuck with their like main character life, like that's the shitty grind that they have to put in, and the least you can do is be the happy NPC that's just like, no, I'm not interested in the car insurance, but how is your day?
This is so wholesome now. Now I sound like the asshole being like, why would you do that?
That's what I was getting at. That's what I was getting at anyway.
I will say one thing to like completely like humble you even worse in this moment.
Go ahead.
I absolutely love John Oliver. They are a great, just a great human. Their writers on their show are amazing. Their research department is amazing. But they did do a piece on like spam calls and the amount of people that are like sex trafficked and forced to do this on the side. And like a lot of these people are like stuck in very horrific conditions.
Mhm.
And so the least you can do is like, hey, give them the 2 minutes to answer the call, even if you're not going to buy anything, or to like get some information if you can to then report these things to your local FBI building and stuff like that. Cause like, hey, you know, it's annoying as hell. It's a horrible practice. And at the end of the day, like, it's still affecting people in horrible ways. And like, we can do something about it, even if we take like just 5 to 10 minutes to be like, let me write a shitty email about this number that called me 14 times this week.
Gotcha. Look at that.
You're right.
How do you feel about that, Alex?
I
you feel
will lean on the crutch that as a femme presenting person, me giving out any information about myself to strangers is very worrisome.
Yes.
So I will claim the femme presenting card right here.
Don't worry. You playing that card, I'll immediately play the, oh God, I completely understand. I am coming from such a privileged position, being a very like tough mask, like looking person here in Chicago. But yeah, also at the same time, like, oh, come on, how dare you?
I see your card and I give you a switch card. But no, I think that's a valid point, because even people, that fucking sucks. Like, I can't ever imagine like needing help and like literally, that's my fear. That is my fear, and I completely relate to people my area of Dallas has a lot of anti-houseless architecture, and my area just put up panhandling signs about how it's illegal, and if you want to help people, here's a QR code, which then feels very pulled away from what's actually happening with, you know, people actually risking their lives and asking for money, because at the very end of the day, we are still on a street with people who don't really know how to drive sometimes. And so once you start factoring all those things in, like, man, I really wish we were, as a general society, much better at helping people out than I think we are. And that's a million different reasons and a little million thousand different things that have happened for us to get there. But like, man, at the year of our Lord 2025, I really wish we had it better. Like, we were doing better in general.
But on the upside, in the year of our Lord 2025, we now have all the data that proves that, hey, this silly hobby of ours from the 80s is now doing stuff that would benefit people in such positions. And it is, you know, showing metrics that are showing improvements in people's social interactions and their actual abilities at school. We've been doing work not with Rough Magic, but with another organization I'm part of called the Chicago Tabletop Gaming Association, where we've been doing stuff with like Veterans Affairs. So we've got some GMs at Rough Magic that do that completed their course at, I believe it's called Geek Therapeutics, which is a therapeutic gaming course, which is essentially taking all the safety tools you learn in D&D and using that in like forced confrontation scenarios and being able to be like, hey, let's just game it out. Whether it is like taking combat vets and putting them back in a high stress situation, something ripped from their files, and letting them process that, you know, interaction, or whether it's, you know, just having somebody that has a genuine trigger and being like, hey, we've established this is not going to show up in the game at all because it's about having fun for the next 2 hours and yada yada. So yeah, shit sucks. Everything sucks. Things go on. But at the end of the day, we've got this really awesome game. And thankfully, it's not just one game anymore. There's hundreds of different titles out there, thousands of different creators. It's a genuine, wonderful online and in-person community that really does such an amount of heavy lifting at this day and age, because it's like, yes, we are here to meet in a tavern and to get the contract to hunt past the goblins and slay the dragon. But that's never what it's about. It's an excuse for you and your friends to meet every 2-3 weeks and to actually unplug from it all. And, you know, yes, dragons are horrible creatures, and we can all acknowledge that storing tons of wealth for yourself and not using it is horrible, and we should slay such creatures, those monsters.
Yeah. And sometimes we kiss the homies on the mouth.
Sometimes we need to kiss the homies on the mouth because, hey, queer representation is important too. Yeah. That said, Happy Pride Month is when we're recording.
Happy Pride.
So to all you tieflings and changelings out there, Happy Pride. Congratulations. I'm glad you're all here.
I'm glad your fifth character is still one of those two.
How's that first character where you were playing something else that you were totally not at all ever? Not even a little bit.
Oh, that was totally people's, like, what was it? Druid? Because of the wild shape back in like 3-5 days.
Ooh, Alex.
Did I just instantly call you out, or was it a half elf ranger because you wanted to be pretty and fast?
No. You know, I sometimes see the things that people say about people who really like druids, and I'm like, but I'm not an earthy girl. Like, I like my air conditioning. I like staying inside. And then sometimes things come out and I'm like, dang, I can't beat the druid allegations. I can't.
I mean, what I will say is that, like, suburbanite druids have their little backyard garden. City druids have their, like, hydroponic walls or their succulent garden. I'm sure that there's some part of the druid lifestyle that appeals to you. Personally, IRL, I consider myself a kitchen witch. So hey, it's all about having those fresh herbs and knowing how to heal people's bad days and everything. With some food and occasionally moon water because I remembered this month.
I'm about to move, hence the moving boxes behind me. I have the like super pink moon, that lunar eclipse moon that we had, I don't know, 2 years ago. I still have water in my refrigerator from that that instance, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? Do I travel with it? Because it's a full ass mason jar, and I'm like, do we just bring it with us? Is it crazy to bring it with us? So yeah, hi. I just hoard things.
For all the magic I believe in, it's also one of those like there's usually some weird science that I have fun enjoying behind it. Like constructing a summoning circle in the in the smoker to get the campfire going fast, and like really it's because like if you do it the right way, it's just like a type of way to properly aerate it, and it's like
It's all
yeah,
magic.
it's just
It's all magic.
scientifically the best way. All magic.
All magic. There's no way. It's all magic.
Yeah. Half my friends are like, "Oh, you never use a timer and everything comes out perfect." I'm like, "Well, I'm listening to music the whole time, and your average song is 3 to 4 minutes. So I listen for 6 songs. That's a good 20 minutes easy." And
I use my
next thing you know,
nose. As soon as I can start smelling the cookies, they're done. As soon as you smell them, they're done.
bad.
You pull them out.
Yeah. Sometimes it's trusting the ancestor with the seasonings.
Yeah.
It's being like, I'll stop when they, whisper.
This is so crazy. I just forget everything. Fire, burning. Oh, it's a little too. There's not enough water. I just put more water. I burnt all the water out. That's me. I started boiling a pot and then I forgot it was there.
That sounds like somebody that's messed up ramen before.
Oh yeah, the time.
Oh,
One
no.
time in my youth, me and my mother were making oatmeal cookies and we forgot the oatmeal and it was all flat. But they were nice and sugary without the oatmeal, so I loved it more.
I didn't put oatmeal in my oatmeal cookies, so I made sugar cookies.
Yeah. You just made a different type of cookie, but then like half of the cookie is gone. So you made the smallest cookies anyways. You just
So one would wish it melted itself down into a nice flat sheet.
I was gonna say there wasn't any other binder out there,
No.
so it's whatever flour, so it would have turned into like a brittle almost.
Yeah, what you gonna do?
okay.
10 out of 10.
Right.
Well, not to circle the wagon back, but for your listeners, to give some context, Rough Magic Games, we are a LGBTQ plus BIPOC creator-driven company here in Chicago. We essentially bring the games to you. We memorize the rules so you don't have to. We currently have over 170 different TTRPG titles. We have a staff of over 60 GMs. Some of them are more on a volunteer basis. We do have 18 pop-ups around Chicago, around some of Michigan, and some of Florida and Texas now. We are slowly expanding as more and more GMs sign up with us and slowly gather their different tables underneath our umbrella. But we essentially have all sorts of GMs and talents across the U.S. to help bring the gaming to you, whether by a pop-up near you, a convention near you, or on your actual computers, because we do have hybrid gaming online as well. So I will be sending along the links for them to post underneath the podcast later. But yeah, check out our actual website if you're looking to book games with us. And we carry all sorts of things, not just D&D, but everything in between. We're constantly trying out new systems. We also find that we just got some of the Daggerheart release from Critical Role. Those guys were absolutely amazing. So excited to run some of their content soon. But yeah, I personally run 5 private tables right now, a kids program. I'm currently working on writing several other kids programs around the Midwest. And I run the scheduling and the first venue coordination. So anytime we get a new venue here in Chicago, I run the first game there just so that their staff have an understanding of what we do, and we can pretty much guarantee players have a good time. I run almost exclusively homebrews that I've written myself, with heavy focuses on like Native and Indigenous inclusion.
I mean, that's great work. that you do, because the more we see ourselves within this hobby we have, the more we feel welcome into these spaces. So I absolutely love that. And that's how we should be feeling, is welcome into these spaces.
I mean, because at the end of the day, it's a game and it's group storytelling.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not welcome at that space, like, there should be another space. Just go find another table. Not to say that, like, hey, don't take up space. Like, also look around, find your people. Trust me, there's a game for you out there.
Yes, exactly.
I think that balance is hard of trying to find a table that you belong to and a table that is welcoming enough, but also not shying away from taking up space. Because I know sometimes it's a little hard to say, oh, I need this thing at my table. And I don't know if I am strong enough to ask, or I don't know if it'll be well received, or whatever the feedback you are hearing. What advice would you have for a person looking for a table? What would you say for them to either get through that, find a new, what advice would you just give them?
Ooh, I have essentially two pieces of advice, because it really does come down to like what you are looking for. But um, I would say don't be afraid to invest a couple of sessions at a new table. A lot of times when you are sitting at that new table, it's going to take a little while to break down some walls, to get used to everybody, especially if you are like strangers coming into like a group table, like you're at a pop up, or you had like maybe one friend that brought you in as a guest. Um, so there's nothing wrong with playing a few sessions and be like, you know what, this isn't the game for me, and just stepping away and finding another table. So quitting is completely fine. It's encouraged. Go find another adventure. It's the same way as like if you started a book and you got 5 chapters in and it's just not scratching that itch, the book's not going to judge you for putting it back on the shelf. A good table will not judge you for being like, oh, the adventure isn't for you. That's fine. Like, either we can change the adventure for you, or sorry, 4 of the 5 of us are having a great time. Like, you're welcome to come eat pizza. If not, we'll see you some other time. But if it is something that you're very desperate to make sure you have this in your life, this is a passion of yours, either you move to a new area and you just miss this. If it's something that you don't want to waste a lot of time, like getting into a table, getting out of table, getting into a table, do a bit of research. I know I really hate to kind of like put it on the player, because there's so much that it is on us as GMs to make it a safe and welcoming space, and to do our research about our players and have our session 0 and our safety talks and all that. But there is also that flip side that in today's age of technology and everything, like, your GMs probably have some form of social media. You can look up these people, you can look up your friends, you can see what type of media they're into. If you're checking out a GM that's running a ton of Star Wars content, Star Trek content, and stuff like that, and you're looking for high fantasy, probably don't try to book a game with the sci-fi GM. And like vice versa. So yeah, whether it is because you are looking for a all indigenous table, or whether it is because you are looking for more trans inclusion, or if you are looking for the fact that you have ADHD and you need people to be a lot more patient with you. Yeah, a lot of it is just take a little bit of time, go email back and forth with your GMs, and like, it does take a little bit of extra work, but hey, if you put in that 5-6 hours of work before you ever get to the game, once you get to that game, those conversations become very easy. Now they're already baked into your interaction. Now, if the GM does do something that feels a little bit more pandering because you are the only Jamaican guy at the table, and they do an accent, and like, for the setting it makes sense, but like, hey dude, 8 of my uncles sounded kind of like that, and you were definitely doing like a marijuana stereotype. Like, yeah, but being able to bring that up after a game is the big difference between them just like sitting there and being like, oh, is this what they think of me? So yeah, take the time, do your research, make sure that the game feels like something you actually want to play. And if you want to play that, these people also want to play that, and there's nothing wrong with having hard conversations with people that want to be there together in the first place. Like, we all kind of want to be having fun playing this game, so if you're not having fun, that's going to make me stop having fun too. So let's talk it out. Let's have that conversation, even if it's a 5-minute break, a post game detox, or even just an email between sessions of just like, hey, as a reminder, like my character is this gender and you've been using the wrong pronouns. Can you please correct stuff like that? Like, I know it is kind of sucky to be like, hey, player, advocate for yourself. But also, like, if you feel like you're having a hard time confronting your GM, talk to another one of the players. Be like, hey, this has been bothering me. Is there some way you can help me bring this up to your GM?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a community game.
Yeah.
Help each other. Protect the smalls. Some of you barbarians come help out.
I think it's hard to be brave. Like we talk about it a lot in this game. Any of the versions of the game, right? You still have to be brave. You still playing a different character, playing a different choice, playing, a conflict with somebody at the table, playing and trusting that whatever decisions you make in the game are going to be fruitful. So if anything, I think the same vibe is just like, just be brave. And then, maybe that braveness follows you off the table and then you can advocate for yourself off the table. And then we're all a little more brave and we're all doing really great. And
that did help at one of the therapeutic gaming conversations. One of the players, without breaking any HIPAA law or anything like that, but one of the players had been dealing with some stuff in their friend group where one friend kept like asking for rides because this person had just gotten their car and just kept asking. And they had a moment where their character was very brave, standing up to an NPC that kept like pestering the party for things. And she was like, oh, wait, but if my character can stand up to that person, like my character's me, I can be that brave. I was that brave. Oh, hang on, let me text my friend something real quick. And it was just like, yeah, like sometimes it is realizing that like, hey, when we feel safe to be a hero, it's easy to be a hero. But taking those easy hero moments and dragging them out into IRL, where it's a lot harder to be a hero because like, hey, 5 points of damage in the game, that's whatever, that's a number. But getting your nose broken because you actually decided to stand up for the right thing, that's gonna hurt.
yeah.
Yeah, like it's not easy to make those decisions IRL, but like it's a muscle. So the more we practice it and the more opportunities we give people to practice using these, the more likely they are to stand up to those guards in that super cold, one would even say ice armor.
I mean, and we're seeing people, come together as a community to fight people in icy armor all the time,
All the
more
time.
and more so. And it's heroic. It kind of motivates people. Like, oh, as a community, we can do things together.
Do you think George R. R.
Like
Martin
D&D.
was really proud of that moment, with that shame moment? Do you think? Because I just saw something that like he released the things that were being said to him about releasing him actually writing the last book, and it is honestly like very upsetting. But like I think in that like real life mirroring fantasy, I think I would feel such joy. And I hope he does. That's my wish for George R. R. Martin right now, that he saw that clip of people saying shame in the same way that we watched Cersei's body double walk down those stairs.
Yeah.
I just love that.
Right? Anyone that say words don't have power, I dare you. I dare you to pick up a book.
Just one.
Actually, there's
I buried to take a hit from a dictionary.
if you are going to read any book, like I strongly recommend a book called Dragon's Truth. It is a young adult piece of literature. It is 100% written for like kids. But the general concept is kid finds dragon cave in modern day. Kid finds dragon. Dragon threatens to eat kid. Kid says they were just curious. Dragon makes them a deal. Come back after school every day, do your homework, and I'll give you a different story. You can ask me like one question. And over time, gets to know history through the lens of a dragon. But eventually, like a quarter of the way in, they teach you that learning the way we learn is wrong, and you should instead need to learn how to read between the lines. Not just the words that are on page, but when it was written, who was it written by, what were the circumstances around these things. Like, really understand the context of what this piece of work was, and you'll understand way more about how people are trying to communicate. And from there, it snowballs into like, hey, don't teach people about this because the world will change, and the world changing drastically because like things like your mom crying over a cookbook because she realized that it was written by her mother during the Great Depression, and those recipes were meant to keep people alive. It wasn't about the fact that my mom's cooking was bad, kept them alive.
Mhm.
And just like military doctrine, reading about the opponents and eventually empathizing because they realize that the land grabs are because like there's famine, and it's easier just to share rather than bomb the fuck out of each other. So I always recommend that book because it is like a way, it's just such a speed route of teaching kids like empathy and like literary understanding of just like, please don't just let your education get in the way of your learning. Like, don't just read because someone told you to read because there was something there that tickled a part of you. Let yourself be curious, let yourself get like enamored with books and knowledge, and just get ravenous about it, because there's so much extra magic out there that you can play with when you get that extra knowledge, whether it is cooking or engineering. I've got a friend that is like a head IT person at like McDonald's corporate, but he considers himself a technomancer because he's like, oh, I write runic script into a screen that's polished glass and like specialized components, and I hit it with lightning and they talk to each other. Like, yeah, sending stones be like that, or cell phones. I don't know what we're calling them. But yeah, like find the magic in the learning, and you'll find magic so many other places.
Yeah. No, I like the whimsy. Listen, I am capital W whimsy over here, and I think that's a really fun way. Especially, I know that you and I match on the kids education, kids gaming, right? That
Oh yeah.
inner finding the way to make learning fun, but also making sure that you're setting kids up for success later, in being critical thinkers, because that is so difficult because they're smart, but they're not that smart. They need help.
So I find that like, yeah, you're right. Every kid is incredibly smart because they're always operating off of all the information that they have, and they have very limited access to consequence of action so far.
Yeah.
Like, we think about something and all the social and physical ramifications of that choice that's about to happen based on past experience. So these kids are just like, well, 99% of everything I've done has always worked out for me forever. So I'm going to keep doing everything. Do I have to ask how wide the river is? No, because I've never jumped across a river and didn't make it. But I absolutely love, like, some of the best things is like, yeah, let the kid completely choose the story, follow the path. Like, we literally design a map on day one of our program and let them like, hey, we're here for 8 days, so let's make 8 circles. Each one's a different city. Let's name them. Let's put creatures in them. Why is it like that? Let's do a creative writing thing. But then it's like, once we start adventuring, this is a world you made. This has physics. This has consequences. So whatever happens will happen. And as a great example, they came across Kuatoa very early on. And they were like, oh, these are the fish people that if you can make them believe something, it'll be real.
Mm-hmm.
And so they convinced them that their pet lizard, that the ranger's pet lizard was a dragon god. And oh boy, did that run away from them. Like, by episode 3, it had actually ascended, and like they spent the rest of the campaign trying to find ways to level up to break into heaven and bring their dragon back. Like, that was the campaign. They wrote it themselves because that was just the consequences of their actions. You want to make him a god? Fine. But gods have responsibilities. He can't be here, perched on your shoulder eating berries all day now. He's got somewhere else to be. And if you miss him, well, you gotta go knock on that door. but heaven is not somewhere you can just walk through the door.
Mhm.
Yeah, you tell a
Hey.
12-year-old kid that, and it was really funny to be one of them be like, but if we jump off a cliff, we could just... And I was just like, no!
Oh,
Wait.
this is
And I was like, oh, the almighty Beardo, because it was a bearded dragon, sends a vision in your head of how sad they would be if they had to meet you split upon the rock like that. And they were like, yeah, that'd be probably sad. Never mind. Like, instantly. It was just like 0 to 60 and then back. The whiplash was insane.
It's just no thinking of the after, just like, we just do this. No, you're
They're
right.
just like, oh, well, I know of a way to get into heaven. It's called dying. I know of a quick way to die. There's a cliff. No.
Yee.
Oh, child.
Oh,
No.
children, the darndest thing.
This is the same child that, like, 2 episodes later, then proceeded to make friends with the hungry T-Rex that I threw at them. Because they went like 7 sessions without any combat because they kept making friends with everything. And yeah, I was like, okay, this is a T-Rex. It doesn't understand your language, it is hungry, you're in its territory. Like, there is nothing that you can do to appease this. And they were like, no, you said it was hungry. And I was like, yes, that's why it's trying to eat you. They're like, well, collectively we have like 80 pounds worth of rations. What if we just fed it? And I'm like,
That child
give
said,
me,
bet,
right?
bet, old
Yep,
man.
Yeah, 2
What if we
2
shared?
nats.
You're like,
Socialism.
what? You.
Yeah, 3 nat 20 animal handlings from these girls. I had no choice. The dice were on their side. They were just like, so this is Mango, our pet T-Rex. And I was like, yeah, great. You're level 7. That's fine.
No, nothing bad could ever happen.
Nothing bad would ever. And like, I love homebrew and riffing.
Mhm.
And I love rewarding note takers because, like, hey, you're kids. If you're going to sit there and actually record the whole session, oh, that's the Bible now. If you note check me on anything and you had it written down, those were the stats I gave. I don't care how broken and messed up I made them at the time. I don't care how bad it's biting me in the butt or like ruining the railroad of the campaign. Doesn't matter. You took the notes. You took the time to actually record it. Time of bet done. I've made so many regretful decisions by that, but like, hey, like now I've got a group of like 7 girls that meet every week outside of the program because like they want to continue the cult of Beardo.
You know what?
All hell
That feels like girls. That's the world the Spice Girls were singing about. Okay, that's what they were singing. That's their legacy.
I'll tell you what I want. What I really, really want is a pet a pet T-Rex.
Pet
named
T-Rex.
Rango.
I want my bearded dragon to ascend to god level.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the end of the campaign, they actually had every one of them had some form of animal companion that got to be either a demigod or god by the end of it. It was insane. The Church of the Beardo was a multi-pantheon like conglomerate. They all became either priestesses or prophets of the Great Beardo. It was a thing. It was wonderful, but it was a thing.
I feel like the supplemental information is really just writing itself. And what I'm hearing is the future of game writers for TTRPGs. Fabulous.
The SNL writer room in 20 years from now is going to be phenomenal, okay? I believe one of the other questions you had for me at the very beginning was what got me into this insane hobby of ours.
Yes.
Not to drag us back kicking and
I
screaming.
No. We are not
waiting.
kicking. We are not kicking.
I'm realizing I'm starting to realize it's been mostly me and you with our wonderful host just sitting in the background like this is wonderful. And I'm enjoying this.
That's how I do.
Adrian is
I look
just
pretty
so
and
pretty.
I just chill out.
But yeah, no, there was a wonderful librarian by the name Kimmy Vita that growing up, she worked at Elmwood Park Public Library in Elmwood Park, Illinois. Like it was my hometown library. I will constantly rep them so hard. Please go check them out. They have some really great programs over there. And Kimmy did sadly pass away several years ago. She had a long battle with cancer on and off for years. She is survived by her beautiful daughter and husband. They're absolutely a wonderful family. But yeah, when I was younger, I couldn't read very well. And I was doing all those like special ed courses and hooked on phonics and everything like that. Uh, and my aunt eventually got me hooked on Harry Potter so much that I eventually one night it just kind of like clicked, and I went from like not being able to read more than 5 sentences in a row to like killing a book in a night. And like from there became ravenous. So I got to meet a bunch of the staff at the library, got to know them. But I was a jock growing up. I was a little asshole bully, and I freely admit that because I had something called character growth. When you get your ass beat enough times, you kind of learn to be a better human.
Hold,
But yeah,
hold on,
so
hold on. This person sitting in front of us said, "You know what? Even though it's a dumpster fire now, I read Harry Potter and I said, fuck, I side with the bullies." And you continued to
No.
side with the bullies?
There's context
When was
here.
this context? When did you shift?
I did shift like just after high school, but it was very much like I was in combat sports my whole life. I was very high aggro, high energy, because getting an ADHD diagnosis does not mean getting help. It just means your parents go, nah, we're just gonna sign them up for more things.
Boys will
But
be
yeah, so
boys.
I did
They're fine.
yeah, so yeah, you do nothing but combat sports, and you surround yourself with a lot of just very toxic masculine things. And it was a few years of being like, I don't understand why my single women friends won't touch me. And like, literally, it took like my one friend knocking me out one day, being like, bro, you need to stop being a little fuckboy. Like, there's no such thing as the friend zone. And me being like, you know what? I need to do some soul searching and introspection. And like 2 years later, I was like, you know what? Yeah, Diego was cringe as fuck. Let that guy die. We're gonna work on being a better human. But throughout that whole time, every time I'd get a bad injury or anything like that through combat sports, you go back to the library, and I'd be slowly doing D&D, and slowly working on getting things from other people's points of views, and slowly realizing that all these females that I'm hanging out with are actually strong, independent women. And oh God, don't ever use the word female to describe, some of your femme friends and stuff like that. It's just, yes, Diego used to be a dumpster fire so bad. But no, that seriously, like that is how we heal and grow. And like, thankfully, I've had a really awesome support network around me that has taken shit and been like, hey, dude, don't fucking talk like that. That's not included. And like slowly coming around to my own identity, and slowly coming around to like learning more about my family's history, and like finding out about the native culture and blood in us, and becoming okay with being polyamorous and pansexual and open about it, and like truly just supporting as many like female and BIPOC artists around me, because like, hey, oh my God, people are fucking awesome. And I can't believe how narrow-minded like main character syndrome I had growing up, of just like, no, I'm gonna be the best 5'6" dude, just a little short angry man living out the stereotype. And I was like, okay, we need to change all of this. Step 1, get educated. Step 2, become inclusive. Step 3, keep your mouth shut, ask questions.
I'm so sorry.
There's some good steps.
I am yes.
Crying.
I am crying. Only because it's nice to hear that like all of those things, you're like, yeah, absolutely. Somebody's learned. Like there's growth, right? Boys don't just go to Jupiter to get more stupider. They can grow. They can develop, and they can,
And it takes healthy, well-rounded men to have good conversations with these guys. These guys are lost. They are confused. Like with everything going on, it's real easy to say punch a Nazi. Real easy to say that. It's really hard to say, hey, that fuckboy white guy that Steve or whatever, like, I know he's creepy as fuck around all your friends that are females. Like, don't fucking bring him around until you've had some hard conversations with him.
Yeah.
Like, I had a really great but difficult conversation with my dad, because it's like, hey, I get it. Your God and your religion is your thing. I've built a safe and open house for my friends. I have friends that are trans. Their safety and their comfort is my priority. You say anything like, I don't give a fuck if you're my dad or whatnot. You're getting bounced out of my house. If it has to be physical, it has to be physical. But like, it is one of the things I'm most proud of like being somebody that my teenage self would not recognize at all, and would probably say something like soft soy boy or something like that. And it's just like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. It's such a genuinely better life to just
All
be
those fighting sports.
All them fighting sports showing up so fast.
I mean, I know this is like a podcast, and there's probably not going to be visual for people to enjoy later, but like, I actually have a curved nose. Like, I've got a fracture on my orbital rim, so my one side of my skull is a little bit wonky. I've got just a laundry list of injuries that keep sending me back to the hospital, even now.
Oy.
Oh no!
Yeah.
But yeah, the message of growth is very important. It's something that not many people who are currently within that realm of like, I'm going to be this way forever, and there's nothing nobody can tell me, double negative. And
Ain't nobody
they
gonna
just-
tell me nothing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Somebody's over here like carrying the one of just like, wait, hey, I wish. Are they allowed to be talked to or not? Help.
Yeah. But it's important to kind of confront those people in your life, because otherwise they're just gonna, keep going in that circle, and they're not gonna see the other side. They're not going to see that there is, more to what they're saying. They're only seeing it from the perspective of what they've been shown, but like the thing that they're being shown is multifaceted and has another side entirely.
My favorite example, because it's like, oh, you'll come across people all the time that could be homophobic or racist, like, especially here in a big city. Like, we try to pride ourselves by being very liberal here in Chicago and be very inclusive here. But at the end of the day, there's tons of racial disparity here as well. Like, we are still on stolen indigenous land, and we need to acknowledge that. But like, one of the best interactions I had, we had a little like teenage boy, and we were just riffing at the table talking about like, oh, the name for the town, like mayor or whatnot. And he said, oh, we can make Mayor Trump, hail Trump. And I immediately had to shut that down, because I was like, hey, no, we're not going to have mentions of glorifying him at the table here. And he was like, oh, well, why not? Isn't he a strong leader? And I was like, well, I'm from the LGBT community, and he doesn't believe me and my friends should exist. So I don't feel comfortable putting him in my game. And you see him, like, the gears slowly turn. He's like, but wait, but you're, like, cool. And I was like, thank you. He's like, and if we didn't have, like, you, we wouldn't be, like, doing this. Like, we wouldn't have the D&D here. I was like, well, I mean, you probably have somebody else. He's like, yeah, but, like, your games. And, like, you're the one that wrote these, so, like, we wouldn't have these games. I was like, yeah. He's like, but I like your game, so, okay, fuck Trump. And I was like, okay, you can't say that, though, because, like, your parents did say you can't be swearing. And he's like, okay. It was such a just, like, instantly, like, that's all it takes is, like, sometimes explain, like, hey, your words and actions can actually harm people around you. Your opinions can actually hurt somebody, because for them, it's not a trivial, oh, well, what's 4 years of this guy? Like, what's it gonna do to my wallet? What's it gonna do to my egg prices? And it's so much more than that.
Yeah.
And like, it is so very privileged to be able to say something along the lines of like, it's 4 years of this guy. So yeah, being able to be watchful for your community, and being able to talk to these kids now and explain like, oh yes, there are consequences to these things, even if it is trying to empathize with the guy next to you. Even if you don't like the guy next to you, I don't need you to like me to just not want me dead, which is such a low bar.
But here we are.
Yeah, but
Here we
are.
Here.
And the only way to change is to have those conversations,
Which is really difficult.
and occasionally bricks.
A lot of the time, you're having conversations with adults, like grown-ass adults, who should know better. Because I find myself way more patient, like, in my classroom. I've had conversations. I teach art. I'm sorry, dear listener, that you have to hear this again. I teach art, but a lot of the time I talk about like when you talk about the Renaissance, right? Having really good pieces of work that we're looking at. But then I start adding words like the Christian church or like the Christian Jesus. And like they start to put things together of like, well, why are you saying that, miss? Like it's just Jesus. It's not. Right now we're talking about the Christian God and the Christian Bible, and like, sure, I can understand that you wouldn't know that, and like we're starting to have these conversations. But when you look at somebody who has a fully developed frontal lobe, they should have a fully developed frontal lobe if they're over the age of 25. Let's give or take, right? 16? Is that what you're trying to say?
Really cross their
26-ish
20.
is when they should be finished. And then I think neurogenesis stops around 30 something.
See, you're not adults. You're children with drinking permits.
Once again. Say, you should have treated me like that. You should have treated me at 21 years old. Absolutely, you should have treated me like that. Fully. But
That definitely felt like you were accusing me of like limiting your drinking at 21.
no.
Just like,
No,
yes,
no.
Diego,
You should have
personally.
limited my drinking at 21. You should have.
That's what Alex is saying.
Somebody should have taken that away from me. Like, these choices we're making, you're going to have to live with them for like 20 years. Okay. At least.
That rumble mitt still just staring you down from across the room or something?
Not, you know what? You know, funny story. Sidebar.
Yeah.
My high school friends, the drink of choice that if we were to get one bottle, because right, you're poor, you're getting one bottle.
Yep.
Goldschlager.
What?
Okay. So if you've had Goldschlager, have you ever had something called a Starry Night shot?
No, because we were drinking straight Goldschlager.
It's only 2 ingredients. It's 1 part Goldschlager, 1 part Sambuca. So I see your Goldschlager and I raise you, make it licorice and thick. Cinnamon licorice is a cursed sensation that should not be chilled and like made to that of like a corn syrup consistency. But it looks so pretty. Because it's that solid black like Sambuca with the flecks of gold fluttering around. Oh, it's so gorgeous.
I could see that.
But yeah, no, you're 100 right. That's the proper reaction. You slam that back and you go, hey.
Oh my god. Dear listener, if you're under the age of 21, do not drink. If you're...
Yeah, we do not advocate underage drinking.
No. And if there's one...
And also, if you don't want to drink at all, that's fine too.
Yeah, no. If you listen, join me, dear listener. We can just slam back
Baja Blasts.
Or you could do what I do every convention, which is make a horrible mistake and do nothing but drink yerba mates all weekend long until you go into kidney failure.
Yerba mate.
No.
Yerba mates, they're amazing. They're a great like tea. Like we actually have a sponsorship with them, so like every con we just get like boxes upon boxes from yerba mate, and they're great. They have tons of great flavors, but I kid you not, like I need a warning because you should not be drinking them for 16 hours straight. Like limit yourself to maybe 3 cans in a day. It's so much caffeine. And I was not aware of this, and I once drank like 8 of these cans over a like 6-hour period at a con, and I was like rushing home to get water because I'm like, okay, I'm physically getting abdominal cramping, all just horrible, like back spasm lately, and I'm like, what's worse is I've been through this before, so I know I just need like water and an aspirin. Water and an aspirin.
It's always water and aspirin.
It's a good
Hey, sometimes it's Vicks.
Okay, yeah. So I just got my COVID booster on, and I had 24, and I knew it was going to take me up for 24 hours, but like at the height of the pain and the fever, So I was just looking at pictures of like the little like sauna frogs. Like I just needed like, and I was just like like in my bathtub, just like sauna, and I was like with the vapor rub just like under my nose. I was like, just get me through this, please. Like this 2 hours in the bath, as hot as I can be, while I'm shaking and listen, do what you got to do.
I hate to be the old man about it, but you gotta like just smear it right by the base of the tub. That way, when you start filling it, the hot water steams it through the whole area. You
Brilliant.
gotta do it early on. Yeah. Be careful not to put too much though. If your concentration's off, that's gonna sting the butthole. Do not apply vapor rub directly to the butthole.
It's not a good time.
Not a good time. Do not. Hey, dear listener, we don't advocate using Vicks, any form of lubricant.
Oh my God, please do not.
Any form of lubricant. No, I'm just kidding.
Just big warning sign, do not consume.
That's just big lube.
Yeah, we're really taking on the big
being
companies.
like, actually.
Listen, there's a couple reasons I've been silent. The kids, the teaching the kids stuff, but also the age stuff where like, and I've been in so much pain, and I'm just like,
that's true.
That's what's coming for me.
It is.
Oh no,
it is. I just ran out of I had one of the big bottles without the safety cap on it because I don't have children, right? Just as a friendly reminder to y'all, it's a joy being above the age of 35 and no children.
Me and my partner are dinks as well.
It's so nice, but I just ran out of my Excedrin.
I felt that the other day. That is the worst.
I just took the last one and I was like, I only have one. I don't have two. I don't have a full dose right here. Okay. Okay.
So you gotta get that cold compress. You gotta kill all the lights.
Do you have a rotation? Because this is also what Adrian can look forward to. Do you have a rotation of ice packs in your, like you have the ability to rotate them out in your freezer?
Oh,
I have a stack of like 7 or 8 ice packs.
It's the best. I used to only have like 2. So then you rotate it like, no, you need at least 3.
Mm-hmm. I have like a couple that are like hyper specific where it's like, I have like a lower back brace that has the gel. I have like the ankle brace with the cool pad. But yeah, most of them are just like, this is a fat just block of a pad and it just sits in there.
Yep.
Yeah. And occasionally when shit gets real bad, it's like, okay, I'm going to get like 3 wet washcloths and also throw those in there.
A wet washcloth.
Right?
Yeah. You've got to ignore every warning. Like 20 minutes. They say don't put it directly to the skin. No. Freeze it out.
Yeah, it is. I've had chronic migraines since I was younger, and like I've done everything where it's like, there's like a pressure point between your right thumb and pointer finger, and you can hold that, and you can do all like the sensory deprivation stuff, and eventually it was one of those things with all the other injuries. I ended up just learning mind over matter techniques, but that only takes you so far. Like, you could close your mind and manifest your pain and put it in a box and shrink the box all you want. But at the end of the day, no amount of meditation is really going to stop my frontal lobe from stabbing me with lightning. Okay.
Thunderbolt.
Yeah. Eventually, I just need a fucking chemical treatment, okay? And that's just 2 pills of Excedrin. Sometimes like a single shot of espresso to rush that freaking caffeine in there.
My little own potion.
Sometimes it is brewing potions by firelight at 1 a.m. because the goblins are throwing freaking lightning at your brain.
Yep. And it's knowing the amount of dosage for what kind of pain, right? And knowing exactly what you need. Adrian, look forward to it. Baby girl, it'll be so great.
I think genuinely, like I've had some really bad injuries. And like it's one thing to like have something go wrong and being very high in pain. Like dislocating my ankle tearing ligaments, that sucked really bad.
Mm.
Breaking ribs sucked, but not as bad as breaking the ankle.
Yeah, agree.
However, I would rather break the ankle again than break ribs, because with the ankle I could at least like immobilize it, and I had crutches and whatnot. Every time I break ribs, it is the worst 4 to 6 months of my life of just like, well, I can't laugh, I can't cough, I can't swallow, I can't sit up, I can't lay down. Everything you do is just like, oh, that grinds a little bit more. Okay, that grinds a little bit more. And just gotta take painkillers and hope to God nothing moves wrong.
They're just smoothing the pieces out until they're just like a space right between the ribs.
I start dancing, I sound like a xylophone.
Oh man, yeah, I agree with you.
Man,
Do we
I
have
love
any
D&D.
more on-topic questions? I mean, I will say, like, having histories like this, it's one of those things. Like, we were talking about production value at one of our other panels at a recent convention, and we were talking about how using life experience as free production value. You know, if you know what it feels like to break said thing in a combat, don't just be like, oh yeah, you hit him, you did this much damage, and you go on. It's like, oh, as you know, as you swing down and they block with your hand, you see the sword slice between, pulling the mandible. Yeah, I know, sorry. Instantly, just like the face you make. But like that extra detail helps translates that feeling. The more you feel that, the more the immersion. The more immersion, the better the gameplay. The better the gameplay, the more likely you come back and give me more money.
Woo! We live in capitalist society. Woo!
Yeah, I would love to just torture my friends with graphic violence for fun, but instead I gotta do it for pay.
One day, Adrian. One day.
One day, you got this.
I got offered one. I got offered once recently, like last month. But they're not like very keen on keeping up with maybe. And I'm like, okay, this isn't gonna happen after 4 maybes. I'm golden.
Ask for a deposit. I mean, it is one of the things that we try to do is like, hey, we will do session 0 for free.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is ticketed. Like, hey,
Yeah.
you wanna come play a game? This could be $25, and that's great because once people spend money, they generally don't want to back out from that. So it's like, oh, hey, you know what? You finish a session, cool. These are the days I'm available next month. Can we book it now? And, you know, that way you got that money on the books. And now you're more likely to not quit unless something actively horrible pops up. And sometimes even that, some people are like, but D&D.
I got in a car crash. I'll be there a little 30 minutes late. Sorry.
My dad just died.
Oh my gosh. That's from Alex's
You're
experience.
laughing, but no, like we actually did have somebody that was just like,
it's
hey
happened to
guys,
other
my mom
people.
died. I'm going to be an hour late. And we were like, what the... They're like, no, it doesn't matter. Me and my mom weren't actually that close. I was just letting you know because I've been stuck on the phone, so I was tardy late. And we were like, you're not going to process this? And they're like, no, I have D&D.
Later, after the session. I've got all months.
I mean, listen, they're gonna be dead for the rest of your life. Okay, I mean,
Alex knows. Alex knows best.
I know best. I knew. That's why I didn't give up my one shot. I knew, and then it created the best moment between you and me that I think about.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I still have to live with the fact my dad's not here. Like I can't help you. Happy Father's Day. It's coming.
When's that date? I'll put this. Oh, this episode will be expedited. It'll come out this weekend, so it's topical now.
This weekend, you know, the anniversary of my dad's passing. Thanks.
If you're so inclined, I can do that for you. If not, I can push it elsewhere.
Very first line in the video description: Happy Deathversary.
Happy Data Bird.
We're putting this out to congratulate.
Hey, it was Saturday. It's fine. It's the 7th. I mean, listen, it happens. They gotta go.
Yeah.
They gotta go at some point. And
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
he had to go.
You know what they say.
He had to go. I don't know. He's downstairs. Like I don't.
Got him on a shelf.
I do. Yeah. I got it on sale. He'd be very proud about the urn that he currently lives in. Okay. That he resides in. I know, as his favorite child, that he would love it.
Because the owner of the urn.
Because I'm the
you
owner of the
know?
urn, so I'm thus the favorite child. He would. I got it on sale. It's Jonathan Adler. Like, he fucking would love it. You know, I put googly eyes on it every once in a while when I'm feeling sad.
That was going to be my question.
He does get the googly.
I did find a company that that will take your ashes and put them into an hourglass, and I am just so down to continue being part of family game night.
I love that.
Oh,
I love that.
that's so.
Just keep telling them that they're still late even after I'm gone.
I'd put him into some dice.
well,
I'd put
there
him
we go.
straight up into dice. I don't suspend him. I want it like that sand texture in there. Like, I don't want it
Nice.
suspended and like float. I know. I want it like flat.
You want hollow core and to actually see it kind
Yeah,
of
just shake him around every once in a while. He'd love it.
So every once in a while we could listen to a podcast and be like,
There's a little maraca sound.
Father! Just
oh my
throw it
god,
down.
put me in a maraca. I will party every day of the afterlife.
Diego,
I got a little lucky.
Diego,
Yes.
where can they find you?
They should be more worried about me finding them, to be honest.
Ooh.
No, but they can find me on my actual Instagram, which should be GMDiegoBruno. You can find me on Discord. I strongly recommend checking out Rough Magic's actual website, our Instagram, our Discord, our Twitter, our Facebook. That tells you at least where we're going to be, who's going to be where, and all the games that you can book with us. Also, if you are Chicago or Midwest native, please check out the Chicago Tabletop Gaming Association. We are a nonprofit 501c3 that is helping build this community even more, working with more creators, working with more venues, working with more publishers, just trying to essentially establish a better business bureau for the tabletop community. Being able to vet GMs, be able to be like, hey, these guys work with kids, these guys do voices, these guys, run XYZ titles. Just follow us at all those fun links. We'll be sure to send them around to have them underneath the podcast links later. Check us all out. Find me at different cons. When I'm not running games or at panels, I usually run the NPC guy. So you'll see me traveling around with preloaded dialogue and some free prizes if you can do the quest properly.
Yeah, a little quest marker on top of your
I
head.
do have an exclamation. I think I actually have right here. Exclamation point headband.
Oh my god, stop. It's so cute.
I know. My friend, his name is Dan. For you guys on video, you'll be able to see these, but he is a 3D artist, 3D print artist that we work with at Rough Magic. So if you find us at conventions, please stop by our booth, because Dan, or Saucy Makes, if you check out his Instagram, does a ton of really cool hand-painted 3D art, and tons of like fantasy beer cozies and all sorts of fun stuff like that. Exclamation point headband that lets you know, hey, I'm a quest giver. Come ask me questions that I probably can't answer.
I only have so much dialogue.
I really do. Hello, welcome to Rough Magic Games.
Thank you, dear listener, for joining us on another episode of Dungeons and Degrees. You can find us wherever pods are cast, so be sure to like, subscribe, give us 5 stars, whatever you need to do to get it to love us and worship us as if we too have ascended to the god realm as our former
Bingo! Weirdo!
You can also help support us at Patreon. You can help support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Dungeon and Degrees. And you can follow us at all social medias at Dungeon and Degrees. All of them except for Twitter, because fuck Elon Musk.
Thank you so much for listening. My name's Adrian.
And I'm Alex.
And I was Diego.
Go have some fun.
Bye.